Right, just one arm, doesn't matter which. That's great. Thank you. And I just need the upper arm. Super, thank you very much. Got the old school one, everyone else is using the electronic ones now because they're much easier. But
oh yes, the pump one.
yeah, we trained with this one and I sort of like have I'm reluctant to give it up. I'll just straighten the arm a second. That's great. Relax again. Thank you. That's fine. If you can level up your diet just by, well, I normally eat that, so let's choose the slightly healthier option, then over years that will pay dividends.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
So it's not about sort of being, that's what I'm trying to say, it's not about being too orthorexic about it and going, I have to make everything perfect because that's bad. It's more about just kind of going, okay, I know that thing is slightly less healthy, so let's have that as a flavour thing or as an enjoyable snack, and then if I'm having it every day, let's choose that option. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hello.
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 So, this will take about an hour and a half. I'm just going to talk to you about your medical history for about an hour and 15, and then may do your blood pressure and or physical examination.
Okay.
Possibly. Okay. Right. So just to start with, what is it you'd like me to help you with today?
Yeah, so recently I've been quite tired all the time. I do think it's like a new thing because I used to have quite a lot of energy. But yeah, it comes in waves. So like last month I was really, really like tired and drained all the time, and then this month I am feeling quite a bit better. But I don't really know what link there is there. It's all a bit all over the place. So.
Okay. When did this begin? When did you first start feeling tired?
Like May this year. Yeah.
Could you attribute that to anything? Can you pin that down to anything?
I did have COVID in April.
Okay.
But I did heal from it fine, and then it seems to have got worse and worse since May as well, so I still don't know if it is that because I don't know why it would be getting worse. So.
Sure, no, it does sometimes happen that after COVID people recover and then the post-COVID effects can come on later, which is very strange, but it is something that I've seen a few times. So, so people get the post-viral fatigue. You know, in most infections, you just stay tired after the infection, but some people, they seem to get better. And it seems to go similarly with breathing. Like some people, their breathing recovers and then their breathing will get worse and then it'll recover and then it'll get worse. So it sort of seems to improve in this non-linear sort of wave, like you say. So it sort of like gets a bit worse and then it gets better and then it gets a bit worse. And so overall, over time, the symptoms should get easier. Just without treatment. But obviously I'm a herbalist, so I'll see what we can do to expedite that process. But alright, so it began in May this year, so the main thing is fatigue. Have there been any other symptoms associated with that?
Initially I was having quite kind of a feeling of temperature. I know it wasn't, whenever I would measure it, I wasn't like having high grade temperatures, and it was only like mid 37s. And that seems to have stabilised now. Like I haven't had it this month at all. But I was getting a lot of like, it almost felt like hot flushes or something, which is really strange for me.
Did you, with that feeling of temperature, did you actually, you said hot flushes, you felt hot, did you actually sweat?
Yes, I think I did.
Okay,
yeah.
And where did you feel it? Was it the top part of your body, only face, head, where?
Mainly just the head, yeah.
Okay.
Extreme feeling of
But not this month.
Yeah, this month, I don't know if it is just the temperature's really helping, but or I've got used to it. I don't know.
Maybe. I think it sounds like you're getting better. But so when you had COVID in April, I presume that was diagnosed with a test.
Yeah, the LFTs. I did it for a week straight for work.
Okay, and what did you have with symptom-wise with COVID?
Yeah, I had a temperature for the first 2 days. a really quite high one actually. I lost my smell, but I kept my taste. I had a really bad headache for most of the time actually. And then about halfway through, I really struggled to breathe one night, and it was like this feeling of like a pipe being down my throat, and I was breathing through a straw or something.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But that was only one night, and then it got better.
It felt like it got better, but then definitely since then, I do feel like it's harder to breathe as easily as I did before. I get breathless very easily.
Does that, and this isn't a trick question, it could be completely separate, but does that actually coincide when you get those little breathless spells? Do they coincide with the fatigue, or are they occurring separately?
The breathlessness will usually be if I'm moving, like some sort of to catch the tube or something.
Okay.
And then the fatigue will come after I finish moving.
Okay.
So kind of, yeah.
But so same time, but not exactly at the same moment, one after the other, but they're happening. They're coincident on the same days.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so shortness of breath when moving and fatigue afterwards. That makes sense. So when you say that the tiredness that sort of comes in waves, is this a tiredness that you feel all day long, or are we talking more fatigability? So what you've just described is more like, do you know what I mean? Is the difference between the two would be, because it could be both. It could be one or the other. If you're tired all the time, like just constant fatigue, you just constantly feel a bit knackered, like you haven't slept enough or whatever.
Right.
If you're more easily fatigued, like more fatigable, then it's like you're fine, but then you do a bit of exercise or do a bit of whatever, and then you're suddenly tired. Is it both of those, or?
I'm definitely the easily fatigable one.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you wake
constant.
up, you feel okay.
Yeah.
You feel like you've got enough energy, but it's just you burn out quickly when you're in that state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. Not TAT, but very fatigable. So give me an example of something that would really tire you out when you're having one of those.
Yeah. So at work the other day, I had to be on my feet for it was just an hour of like kind of monitoring the elevators and helping guests get up and down the elevators because we had some old like elderly ladies coming.
Okay.
And all I had to do was man the elevator and take them up to the floors, but just being on my feet and moving back and forth for an hour, I was completely wiped.
Right.
I needed to sit down and then was really struggling to stand back up again once I'd sat down.
Got it.
Yeah.
So 1 hour on feet at work. Dealing with people, dealing with the public can be quite tiring at times, but
it's also that.
1 hour of feet at work equals very exhausting. And how long would you need to go to sleep after that, or would you just need to sit down for a bit? How long would it take you to recover, or would that be you done for the day?
So I think after I'd kind of sat then at my desk again for a few hours, I was well enough to like go home and then just rest all evening, and then felt fine this morning once I'd woken up.
Okay, so the fatigue persists for the rest of the day, but you can sort of recover partial battery life by just doing nothing for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Tiredness, less rest. Right, so you're saying this is happening in waves. It's less this month. So this month, how often is that happening? Say, for example, it's tricky to put figures on this sometimes, but how many times a week?
Honestly, like once, and some weeks I didn't even have it at all this month.
Okay, it sounds like you're coming out of the woods naturally.
I hope so. Yeah, but fingers crossed, because I think it does really go up and down.
Sure. So tiredness currently, and last month, how often was it happening?
Last month was quite bad. Like twice a week, 3 times a week, I think, a few weeks.
Thank you. All right. Are there any other sort of headline symptoms? Because I will be going through lots more questions, so we'll dig anything up if there's anything else. But is there anything else headline that you'd like me to focus on?
I think those are the main ones, yeah.
Okay. So really the fatigue and the shortness of breath that sort of precedes it. Thank you. Okay, so let's go past medical history. So when you were born, were you born early or jaundiced or anything exciting?
Exciting, yes. I came out the right way, but the wrong way up.
Okay.
From what I remember, yeah.
So, not breech, not feet first.
Just.
Don't know the term for it, but upside down.
There's not really a word for that one because people are always like, "Do you mean
Oh, I bet
breech?"
there is.
And then
I bet there is a term for it, but
upside down baby.
It.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so they had to use like little clamps on my head to get me out.
So forceps.
Yeah, okay. I've got like a bump somewhere on my head of like some extra calcium or something.
Interesting. No history of headaches or migraines or anything like that? Don't have to be.
Occasionally, yeah. I do get quite a few headaches, yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that. Thank you. And any illnesses as a child? Anything that laid you up or took you out of school or anything like that?
No, other than like a bad tooth. That's like it. I think they pulled a tooth out because...
That is very slim pickings, which is good. So one time's bad tooth. So no hospital visits, no operations, nothing like that.
None whatsoever, no.
Okay, great. All right. So nothing during childhood, nothing during school years, no operations, tonsils, appendix still there.
All there, yeah.
Excellent. All right, I'll just run through a quick list of conditions just to make sure you haven't had them. I'm pretty sure you won't have done, but we have to do it. Jaundice.
No.
Hepatitis.
No.
TB.
No.
Glandular fever.
No.
Rheumatic fever.
No.
Asthma.
No.
Eczema.
No.
Hay fever.
Yes.
Diabetes.
No.
I presume not. Okay, thank you. Right, hay fever. Have you had that all your life?
I don't think so, but I don't remember exactly when from. I feel like year 6-ish, I remember having it still. So.
Okay. What age is year 6?
That's a really good
approximately.
I think it's like 9 or 10.
Okay, thank you.
But I can't really guarantee that.
No, that's fine. That's just an approximate timeline placement.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, 9, 10, hay fever. And for you, I mean, obviously hay fever, everyone knows what it is, but what are the main symptoms? Is it sort of snottiness or itchy eyes or itchy throat or what?
Yeah, my nose gets affected, all like stuffy, and then itchy eyes. Not so much the throat though.
So no sneezing, no.
Oh, sneezing, yes.
Sneezing, yes. Okay. Stuffy nose, itchy eyes. No wheezing or breath.
No.
So it's not going over into asthma. Okay. No. Thank you. Itchy eyes and sneezing. Thank you. And when does that happen? What months of the year ish?
It's usually like exam season, so it's always like April to June-ish.
Okay, April through June. Do you know what you are sensitive to there? Like, has any allergist told you at any point in the past?
I feel like I've noticed it's usually around grass pollen season, so I feel like it might be that.
Probably. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So probably grass. Thank you. Okie doke. So other than the hay fever, no other major medical upsets until COVID.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You have had a stellar medical history. All right. So, are you taking, I presume, no prescription medication at the moment? No. Excellent. Any over-the-counter stuff, so supplements or pharmacy bits?
Yes, I take vitamin D supplements.
Great idea.
Yeah, I had a blood test at the doctor's once. They told me I was low, so I take that.
What do you know the dosage?
Yes, it's 3,000 IU, I think it's.
That's the one. And that's just 3,000 IU once a day.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then also just a multivitamin.
That sounds very sensible. Okay. Excellent. Have you had all the usual sort of childhood vaccinations? So, TB and can't remember the 3 they put in one, the M.M.R. and all that.
Yes, yeah, I believe so.
Good, excellent. And have COVID vaccinations?
Yeah, I've had them all.
Can you remember which ones you had?
Yes, Pfizer I had every time.
Okay, and when?
Oh, gosh.
Sorry. roughly, just to sort of...
I think the booster was this time last year.
Okay.
And then it was the second jab was spring 2021. And then the first jab would have been maybe November 2020.
Okay, no worries. And no side effects or issues with any of those?
No, just felt a bit gross and groggy the evening of all of them.
That sounds normal. So,
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any allergies, particularly, well, we know about the hay fever, but any to medications at all?
I don't think so, no.
Excellent. That is helpful. Good. All right. So, family history. So, really thinking about sort of illnesses that might be inherited here. So, with your grandparents on your mum's side, let's start on your mum's side, do you know if any of them had anything medical, or if any of them, hopefully they're still around, but if any of them passed away, did they pass away with anything medical?
Yeah, so my mum's side, my aunt and gran both have diabetes.
Okay.
And I believe my granddad died of lung cancer, but I was so young, I'm not really sure.
Okay. Was he a smoker?
Yes.
How old? Was he in his 60s or 50s?
I'm really not sure.
Something. Okay.
Actually, was it for something to do with the lymph nodes as well, actually?
Not lymphoma. Because it could be lung cancer that spread into the lymph, or it could be a primary lymphoma or something.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not
sure.
entirely sure which one it is. There's definitely something to do with the lymph nodes.
Something not great associated with cancer, possibly lung cancer. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. No, don't worry. And so in his possibly 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. And then your and your auntie on your mum's side, both with diabetes.
Yes.
Is that adult onset diabetes?
Adult onset, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is your gran still around on your mum's side?
Yes.
And is she otherwise healthy?
Yes.
No high blood pressure or cholesterol or anything like that?
Not that I've heard of, no.
Perfect. All right. And on your dad's side, same question.
Yeah, I don't really know of any bad stuff on his side. I don't think there is any.
Okay.
Just
That's
bad
really
eyesight.
good. You have a pretty good genetic legacy from that side then, so that's helpful. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you. So, all right, your mum and dad, do they have any health issues?
I do think my mum has high blood pressure recently,
Okay.
yeah.
Okie doke. And high cholesterol as well? Just the blood pressure?
I think she's only been told about the high blood pressure to be careful with from the doctors.
Thank you. And but your dad, fine?
Fine, from what I know.
Right, thank you. And do you have any brothers or sisters? And if so, are they all healthy?
Healthy younger brother, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Excellent. Perfect. All right. So I am assuming, no, but I shouldn't assume. Do you smoke at all?
No.
No smoking. All right, good. Any drinking?
No.
And any naughty substances?
No.
Okay, very good, very good. Excellent. So what do you do for sort of hobbies, for recreation?
Reading.
Excellent. Any exercises or anything?
I used to do yoga a lot,
Right.
but I don't really have enough time in the day anymore or energy, so...
Okay, that's interesting. When did that stop? Did that stop with the pandemic, or did that stop with work, or?
Yeah, it stopped at some point in lockdown, really. So it was before I was working full time.
Okay.
But I don't think it originally stopped due to tiredness. It probably stopped due to laziness. So back then it was a different issue.
Well, you know what? It's when your routine changes, as it did for everyone in lockdown. It sometimes truncates things, because a lot of the time we run on habit, because it's quite a low power circuit, and then it's a lot harder to re-establish a habit or to establish a new habit than it is to maintain an old one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now your life is differently shaped. You would have to find a place to sort of fit that yoga in there. So we'll talk about that, because I think you could probably do with fitting a little bit of exercise in there somewhere. So, all right, so reading, that's excellent. But do you get any exercise at all, would you say?
Entirely from my commute, it will be. So just running around London.
No, I mean, that's often enough. Are you walking, or how are you?
Yeah, like a combination of walking and getting the tube and stuff like that. But
Okay, so how much walking, I mean, it's a tricky question, but how much walking would you say you do in a day, for example? Like minutes?
Yeah, minute. I really don't know. I know I get under 10,000 steps though.
Okay.
So it's not a lot.
Okay. Commute, walks daily. Got it, thank you. Yeah, definitely we could do with building a little bit of exercise regular.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very, very, very easy to have a habit broken, and so I don't know, we'll get into that, but one of my favourite phrases is set a low bar and stick to it. So I think the way we mostly sabotage ourselves is we set a really high bar and then find that we don't have time, energy, motivation to accomplish that, and then sometimes that collapses and then it gets forgotten. Whereas if you just sort of say, I'm going to do 5 to 10 minutes of a yoga set every morning, that becomes more doable, or in the evening, or whenever it's convenient, or even just start every other day with 5 minutes of yoga, but make it a thing like brushing your teeth. Then it becomes a lot easier to sustain, because after 2 or 3 weeks it's become a habit, and you'll start hopefully feel the benefits of it. So then you become incrementally more incentivized to do the thing. Yeah. In theory. Anyway, all right. So all sounds very, very healthy. The only thing is a little bit more exercise, but you're getting lots of mental exercise, which is very important. Where you're living at the moment, sort of clean, sort of not damp. Good.
Yeah, and I've got a air filter thing every time that I look at the figures, and it's all good. So
amazing. I'm very impressed with that. Okay. I need one here.
Yeah, London's probably a bit worse for air quality, I think. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'd probably terrify me if I used it. So just.
I'd see the figure.
I mean, I have like plants in every room of my home, but apart from this one, but still.
I do think at work probably I can't imagine the air's good, and I am there like most of the day, 5 days a week. So.
Okay. All right. So take me through your daily diet. What do you eat? So give me a breakfast, lunch, dinner sort of format. What you sort of eat in a day.
Right. So I know I should be eating breakfast, but I often skip it.
Not necessarily bad, but okay. So usually, no. Do you have anything like a drink or anything at breakfast time?
Yeah. Recently, I've been starting, because I have been aware of how bad my diet is. So I've started having like a little green juice in the morning, and then I have this. It's very niche, but there's this Japanese drink called like amazake. And
I know it. Yeah.
Really?
The fermented rice stuff.
Yes, yeah. I've been having that because I tried to stop drinking so much green tea, because I met someone who also had potentially long COVID symptoms, and she said she thought caffeine might be making it worse.
Oh, interesting. But I'll tell you, and it's an interesting little factoid about green tea.
Yeah.
You're quite right that caffeine in some people might make the fatigue worse, but the flavonoids, the antioxidants in green tea, a couple of them are quite strongly antiviral, including, in the Petri dish, I hasten to add, somewhat antiviral against COVID. So it's not all that bad. So depends how much. I mean, if you're mainlining pints of it, then maybe reduce. But drinking a couple of cups is probably fine.
Yeah, I was having about 4 cups a day, I think.
Not crazy. That's okay. Are you sensitive to caffeine, would you say?
See, I don't really know.
Okay, then you're probably not.
It was quite hard to cut it out, though. I did have a really bad headache.
When you stopped?
When I stopped, as if I was like withdrawal symptoms.
Yes, that is literally caffeine withdrawal.
Oh, yeah. It was about 3 days. It was bad, the headache.
Headache and feeling tired and not motivated.
Very grumpy, yeah.
Yes, that's caffeine withdrawal. So, yeah. But you're currently no green tea, so now you're having amazake.
Very sad life. I miss it.
Do you know what I'd suggest is, because I'm a big chocolate fan, as in like proper chocolate. So I have like half a pint of chocolate twice a week because I love it. And then like maybe one day a week I'll have a proper Japanese matcha tea. But I don't have caffeine more than 3 days a week. Personal choice. And like no shade to anyone who has it every day.
Yeah.
But for me, that preserves the nice effects of it. Like I'll have a nice little lift from it, which is enjoyable.
Yeah.
But it stops me getting into that dependency thing. So if you just have it no more than maximum 3 days a week, I'd say maybe twice, 2 days a week as a little treat. So I have my chocolate days on days when I'm doing work at home and I'm not going to be disturbed. And because I like it for mental work and I can sort of relax and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I sometimes have green tea if I have a bit of work to do with other people.
Yeah.
That's just choice. It seems aesthetically right to do that, but so the point is, I don't think you need to. Well, we'll get into it, but I think if your sleep is okay, and green tea didn't disturb your sleep in any way,
I don't think it did.
okay, then I think you'd be okay to just have it up to 3 times a week. Should stop you from getting dependent on it.
I was definitely dependent on it because it was like every morning until I had.
But you have to be strict about it if you do that, because it's very easy to go, oh, I'm really tired this morning, I've just had a cup of tea. So no, you kind of have to, you have to find alternative means of waking yourself up, which is really just powering through as you are doing.
It's getting easier though. I was quite amazed.
It does. I think probably if you've given up caffeine, how long have you been without it now?
It's only been like 2.5 weeks.
Oh, do the whole month. Do a whole month. A whole month. Do a whole month. Yeah. Because I think in the past when I've gone on a little caffeine fast, at least a month, I think, to sort of reset things a bit.
Right. Okay.
Otherwise, it's too soon. It's I feel better now. I'll just straight back on it. Do you know what I mean? So,
okay. I'll power it through then.
Yeah, you're doing well. It's good.
All right.
Right. So the green juice, what's in that?
That's also another Japanese one. I believe when I looked it up, it was barley shoots or something like that.
Okay. Not green barley grass. Barley grass.
Barley grass, maybe. They said it's usually wheatgrass, and then it was the Yakult one that was using like a different wheat that was basically similar. Oh no, maybe hold on, sorry, I think it is wheatgrass, and usually they use kale. That's it. Sorry, it's a wheatgrass shop.
That's great. Oh, so it's just straight up wheatgrass.
I believe so.
All right.
Sorry, all over the place with my ingredients.
It's all right. A lot of people don't even know what's in them, so that's pretty good. So you usually have one or the other, like the wheatgrass juice or the Amazaki. You'd have both.
I have both, yeah. So because I really like drinking warm things in the morning.
Nice.
But it's a lot of effort to make the green drink warm, and then it's just a bit gross. So I have a shot of that, and then I'll have my nice warm Japanese drink.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Yeah. So what time would that be normally?
About 9:40.
Okay. Perfect.
To work. Yeah.
So lunchtime would be when?
12:45.
Okay. And what would you normally have?
Recently, a halloumi wrap.
Okay.
Almost every day.
I mean, halloumi is very tasty, and I say this as a vegan. It's very tasty. So halloumi wrap. Any other examples, other lunches? If that's like daily at work at the moment, are there other lunches, weekend and stuff?
Yeah, I have quite a lot of like rice with some sort of leftover curry or something recently.
Nice.
Yeah.
I assume in the wrap and whatever there'd usually be some veg, like some green stuff in there.
There is, yeah. Which I've been trying to have that instead of having a lot of like just takeout before.
Okay, groovy. And is there protein in these in the form? Obviously halloumi cheese, yes, but rice and curry, there'd be beans, or what sort of things would be in the curry?
I don't think the curry. It's more like there's chicken.
Okay.
There's
that's
potatoes.
Protein.
Oh, okay. Yeah, carrots.
That's all good. That sounds great. Very good. All right. So dinner would be when?
About 7:30.
Excellent. And what would you have?
It really depends on the day, but dinner's gonna be the bad one. So it's like more burgers, more cheap food. I think I had like fish cakes and salad yesterday.
Wait, so when you say bad, because let's dispense with the judgment for the moment, but let's say, if you say bad, you mean more fried often?
Yeah, more fried, more likely to be Deliveroo if I'm tired.
Gotcha. Alrighty. And would you normally have any sort of fruit or green stuff with that, or not?
Salad sometimes with dinner, yeah.
Occasionally, salad.
Yeah, and fruit would be if I go to M&S at lunch and do grab some fruits because I'm craving it, like watermelon or something.
Alright, gotcha. So, do you have snacks at all? Or are you a snacker? Or is that pretty much it for the meal times?
I'm not really a snack. If I do snack, there's some nuts on my desk. Unsalted nuts.
Very good. Right. Unroasted, unsalted. Very good.
Yeah. Most plain ones I could find.
Yeah, which is really boring, but best for you. So, so nuts are great. I mean, as a vegan, I eat my body weight in them, but they are better, unfortunately, unroasted. And of course, I do roast them to put them in meals and stuff because they're much more flavoursome once they're roasted.
Yeah.
But when you roast them, same as when you heat up any protein, actually, this is true of like meat as well, you produce AGEs, these advanced glycation end products that aren't so good for you. I mean, they're not going to kill you overnight, but it's a minor side effect of eating to stay alive. If you get AGEs in some foods, and they tend to be higher in roasted foods that are cooked at very high temperatures and that are browned. Right. So the same browning reactions that produce an increase in flavour and make things more flavourful, really irritatingly also produce more of these AGEs. So the way to deal with that is, I don't think to deny yourself those foods completely, but to eat a proportion more raw foods, as long as they're safe and healthy and good raw foods. And also, when you're sort of doing things like toasting nuts, to include a lot of foods with antioxidants in the meal, like veg, whatever. It's all sounding a bit orthorexic, but in the bottom line, when you just eat normally a range of stuff, you'll usually cover those bases.
Right.
But it's not a good idea just if you're snacking every day on toasted nuts.
Yeah.
Much better if you can just it's dotting I's, crossing T's level of kind of improving.
Yeah.
Just if you can level up your diet just by, well, I normally eat that, so let's choose the slightly healthier option, then over years that will pay dividends.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
So it's not about sort of being, that's what I'm trying to say, it's not about being too orthorexic about it and going, I have to make everything perfect, because that's bad. It's more about just kind of going, okay, I know that thing is slightly less healthy, so let's have that as a flavour thing or as an enjoyable snack, and then if I'm having it every day, let's choose that option. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think, I'd seen the AGE things somewhere before, and I think I was a bit confused about it, because I was like, it's very ironic that the video was something about anti-aging. They're talking about these things called AGEs, and I was like... It's kind of hilarious, isn't it? Yeah. The acronym AGE, it stands for, like I say, Advanced Glycation End Product, and the glycation bit means sugar. So it's, as I understand it, which is probably somewhat inaccurate, but it's when proteins are heated and they kind of get, protein and sugar get stuck to each other and produce these molecules which are damaging. They're pro-oxidant. So this is going to end up as a lecture, but basically the oxidation is it happens naturally in every cell in the body which respires. So all our cells produce energy by using glucose and oxygen to create energy in the form of ATP. That process naturally produces what are called free radicals, which always sound to me like little Che Guevaras running around, but it's actually just like it's more like soot produced from a reaction. Right. So free radicals, what they actually are little single electrons which bounce around, knocking electrons off other atoms and creating a little chain reaction of instability. So it's like soot produced from the normal respiratory processes, produces these oxidative particles, these free radicals. So antioxidants are substances either made by your body or which you can ingest in some foods, which have a spare electron to donate. So they donate the electron and stabilise this little free radical. Right. So they're things that your body makes to neutralise. So in other words, it's like
burning sugar with oxygen in every cell of your body produces this soot, these free radicals, which when it builds up, it damages the cell. They cause these little chain reactions. And antioxidants are like little soot cleaners. Or what they're actually doing is donating spare electrons to neutralize the free radicals.
Yeah.
And your body makes them, and you can get them in some foods. So like vitamin C is an antioxidant. Loads of the pigments in fruit and vegetables are antioxidant. There's loads of these things that are antioxidants. AGEs are a specific, and again, I may be slightly wrong here, but I'm in the right ballpark. AGEs are basically strong sort of oxidant things that are produced naturally when you heat up proteins with sugars, and these molecules, like a little sort of like pro-oxidant wrecking balls, they go in and sort of like create chain reactions. So you need, if you have lots of antioxidants with them, or some compounds, I have to say particularly made by many plants, useful plants, those compounds will neutralise the effects of those AGEs. But the best way to sort of reduce the harm of AGEs is to ingest less of them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so they're often produced in, as I say, sort of high temperature reactions of protein with sugar. So usually that is browning reactions. So
like frying things, or
anything that creates tasty browning. So yes, so frying, roasting. Particularly we're talking usually cooking with oil, which by the way I do. I'm not a purist. I'm not saying you have to eschew these things completely. It's just if you're eating a lot of fried stuff, so anything that's crispy or toasted, so ordinary toast, which I have a lot, I like it, or roast potatoes, all of these things, all of those will, the browning reactions that in cooking, they're named after some guys called Mr. Maillard and Mr. Strecker, so they call them Maillard reactions or Strecker reactions, but they're reactions that create those lovely flavour compounds. Those same reactions will usually create some AGE type compounds.
That's so annoying.
It's really annoying, but the beautiful thing is, if you're having a good balanced meal with lots of like good veg with it and stuff, you'll be neutralising a lot of it. And also you kind of want your food to be tasty because you want to be incentivized to eat it. So having a little bit of that sort of like having a little bit of fried stuff or some roasted nuts or whatever to encourage you to eat the whole thing is fine. It's just about not going overboard so that the whole meal is fried, or so that every time you have nuts they're like roasted nuts, or that, you know what I mean? It's that because we're talking cumulative things over time, because I don't believe that you can avoid aging. I don't believe that you can avoid decrease in function over time, but what you can do is just tip things so that the balance is a little bit more favourable. And I don't think that's about being extreme, because I think in the end, if you try and be super crazy about it, well, you can see people get orthorexic, you can get too controlled with the diet. And I think this is from a Chinese, I'm not a Chinese herbalist, but there's a concept in Chinese medicine, or in most traditional medicines, that every extreme turns into its opposite. So if you get overly controlled about your eating, so these people who do 100% raw diet or 100% fruitarian diet, it ends up becoming unhealthy because of all the stuff they're restricting and all that. So anyway, I am lecturing now, so I'm going to
It's kind of sad when you think about it, because they probably started with good intentions, right? And
I think those diets have lots of good stuff in them, but they're so hyper focused on achieving that goal that it ends up becoming destructive. In the long run. So, which is interesting. Although I'm sure, like on the internet, there'll be people who disagree strongly with that sentiment. Okay, so what do you drink throughout the day?
Usually just plain water. Well, Brita filter water.
Brita filter. I want to get one of those bougie under sink filters one of these days, but they're quite expensive. Nice. But so because probably in the long run cheaper than using a Brita filter and changing it every month.
Definitely.
So just filtered water. How much water do you drink throughout the day, would you say?
I'd say I drink a lot. I'm not entirely sure exactly how much, but definitely have a little built-in Brita water bottle that big,
Okay, so maybe 1.5 litres, something like that.
Yeah, probably. I do drink a lot of water.
Okay, and any you said you were drinking green tea. You have your Amazaki in the morning and green juice. Any other liquids, teas or?
Because I'm not drinking green tea right now, that's kind of
Okay, that sounds fine.
Yeah.
Right, just some general questions, so general sort of medical, so systems inquiry. Okay, so do you ever get any chest pain?
Yes, occasionally, yeah. Just like here, yeah.
Okay, when does that tend to happen? How often?
It seems to be in the evenings. I'm never entirely sure why. Like sometimes lying down, so it's probably just awkward posture or something, maybe.
When you're lying down, are you normally, when it happens, I don't know if you record this, but are you lying on your back or on your side?
Back, I think. But I'm really not sure.
Okay.
That'd probably be on my phone, so some sort of
Okay.
combination of the two.
Gotcha. All right. And are they? How intense are they? So if you 0 to 10, 0 being nothing, 10 being max.
3 or 4. Like
Okay.
I can ignore it.
Okay,
Ish.
but it's pretty intense. And how long do they last?
It goes away. Like it comes in like bursts, but I think if I ignore it, like it's gone within 10 minutes or so.
Okay, so it can last up to 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
And are there any palpitations with it?
No.
Okay, no palpitations. Excellent. And how often is that happening, would you say? So say this past couple of weeks.
It's really infrequent. Like I've only had it like once or twice this month for the weeks, yeah.
Very infrequent. So maybe would you say once or twice a month?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Miss. Right. Any ankle swelling?
No.
Wouldn't have thought so. Any shortness of breath? You mentioned, well, we talked about that.
Yeah.
There was shortness of breath. That's part of the main thing. Other than when you're getting the shortness of breath, those sudden little attacks, you're not short of breath when you're walking or running for a bus or something.
No. Not unless I've just overdone it and done too much walking and running.
So generally speaking, no, just when you're having those moments of spontaneous shortness of breath.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hands and feet normally warm, cold? How's your circulation?
They're usually quite cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have they always been that way?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Any varicose veins at all?
What exactly are those again?
I wouldn't have thought so because they're usually sort of an older person's little present. But they're larger, more visible blue veins that are usually a little bit bulgy.
I don't think so.
No. I'm very, very sure that you wouldn't have.
They're
often found on the calf
veins.
or sometimes on the inner thigh or the legs, but usually lower legs because people do this, crossing your legs.
Yeah, I can see veins, but I don't think they're like special veins.
Not bulgy.
Not bulgy veins. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Any coughing at all?
No.
Excellent. And no snottiness. I mean, other than in hay fever season, no snottiness or catarrh or sore throats or anything like that.
No.
Excellent. Any problems with the waterworks peeing?
Nope.
Excellent. Not going too frequently or getting up at night to pee or anything like that?
Just once or so a night, probably.
Okay. Most nights? One time?
Yeah, most nights.
Okay, thank you. Does that disturb your sleep or are you able to get back to sleep?
Most nights, yeah, I get back to sleep fine.
Okay, excellent. Now you mentioned headaches earlier. How often are they happening?
It's really hard to put numbers on things.
It is. We always ask these really awkward questions. Yeah. It's like quantify it. It's tricky.
I honestly don't know. But at least twice a week.
Okay.
When I'm at work at my screen or yeah.
So that's when you notice it, usually when you're sitting down?
It's always at work, yeah.
Okay.
Other than the caffeine withdrawal thing I had at the weekend.
That's a whole separate issue. So
that was self-inflicted.
Well, that's like everybody's like humans. There's a reason it's the most popular drug in the world, caffeine. It is by far. So 2 days a week average. How long would they last when you get one?
Yeah, a good few hours. Yeah.
Oh, really? And again, if you had to, sorry, quantification question, if you had to mark it out of 10, how intense would they be? 0 to 10?
2.
Okay, so pretty mild, but niggly.
Yeah, it's there.
Got it. And where on the head are they?
Always like here around the
Around
eyes.
the eyes. That
Yeah.
sounds very screeny, actually.
I'm pretty sure it is.
So you did say it's often when you're using screens. Do you have them when you've not been on a screen?
No.
Okay. Might have a few fixes for that. So, okay, a few headaches. You said lasted up to a few hours, I think you said.
Yeah.
And then headaches around eyes. Always when using screens. Thank you. Any dizziness at all?
Occasionally, but it usually has some sort of reason for it. Like I haven't eaten, or again, maybe sometimes with the fatigue, there's a tiny bit of dizziness there, and I just want to lie down.
Okay, so that happens again. When you say occasionally, how many times in the past couple of weeks have you noticed that?
Once.
Okay, so what is that about right-ish? Once every fortnight at the moment?
Dizziness. Once every fortnight. Maybe even less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once a month?
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Okay.
It was worse in August. I had like the worst period of all these symptoms.
Okay.
And then the dizziness was more than that.
So, and the same with the headaches were more frequent in August?
No, the headaches seem to be
They seem to be their own thing, don't they? Right, screens.
Yeah.
So it's more the dizziness, the shortness of breath, the fatigability, that was all worst in August.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the peak of whatever that was.
Got it. So that dizziness is something you would associate very much with the presenting complaint, very much with the main thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's helpful. So about once a month recently. And how long does that dizziness last?
Not too long, because I usually just lie down straight away and then
sorts it out once you've rested.
Yeah, you feel a bit like almost a bit tipsy.
Got it. Yeah, wobbly.
Yeah.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour?
10, if I had to put a number on it.
Okay, thank you. That's 10 minutes duration. Thank you. And that's worst in August. I've got to record that. That's okie doke. Any problems with? I'm assuming not, but your hearing.
No.
No, good. I'm glad you didn't say pardon, because that's what most people say at that point. What? So any ringing in the ears?
No.
Lovely. And any pins and needles anywhere?
No, only if I sit in
On
like
a funny
yeah.
angle. Yes, fine. And just generally, do you? I mean, this is literally a medieval question. This is what the medieval physicians used to ask. But any perturbations of the mind? In other words, is there anything that is worrying you or that's on your mind at the moment that you're okay to talk about?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so there's no particular thing. So good. That doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I think the only thing I stress about is filming. So
okay, but that's just like the daily stress of.
Yeah.
Okay. So nothing major. Good. Any weird skin things like lumps, bumps, patches, odd things? No. So no itchy bits, no moles, no.
No.
Great. You're above. Okay. How's your digestion?
Yeah, pretty good.
Excellent. Good appetite.
Yeah.
No nausea. Not feeling sick any of the time. Excellent. Your weight stable.
Increasing.
That's not a bad thing. And so, do you mind what your current weight and height is?
I'll go with 51 kilograms.
Okay, that's good. Fine. And height?
160 centimetres.
Thank you. That's fantastic.
But I was 48 for a good 3 years. So I've put on a lot of weight.
I don't think that matters. All right, so fantastic. And any dental problems at all?
No, not really, no.
Great. And any heartburn?
No.
Good. So, any issues with joint pain or back pain?
Nope, not really.
Perfect. And just in terms of menstrual cycle, at what age did you start menstruating?
That's a really good question.
Ish.
Again, I know it's year 7, but I know that's really unhelpful.
Well, no, we can work that out because you said year 6 was
Yeah, I don't
9
know if
to
year
10.
6 was right.
Okay, alright, okay, so maybe
I
we
could do the maths really quickly. 11 to 12, 12 to 13, 13 to 14, 14 to 15, 15 to 16. I started with 11 to 12. I would have been 11.
Thank you. That's excellent.
Because 16 is year 11, yeah.
That sounds very, very usual, so good. Any problems with the cycle?
No, not
Excellent,
really.
so regular, no big period pains or heavy periods or anything like that?
The first day is bad.
So pain on the first day?
Yeah,
okay.
Just cramps and the usual.
Okay, and do you have to take painkillers?
I think I did more in like sixth form and stuff where I couldn't focus on class, but now I just...
Nowadays, just sort of steal it out, just go through. Okay, fine. Thank you. All right, so I have to ask, any pregnancies at all?
No.
Good. Oh, well, I mean, depending, whatever, context dependent. And no previous history of infections, sexually transmitted infections?
No.
Excellent. Good. I think we've covered just about everything. And I think this, probably you've answered this already in another way, but do you feel sensitive to hot or cold environments? You don't have to feel sensitive to each bit either, but do you have a preference?
Yeah, I've always preferred hot environments because I've
tend to feel cold
quite a cold person, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
To prefer warmth. Thank you. That's great. All right, I think we've got everything. Was there anything else that you wanted to sort of mention or foreground that I haven't covered?
I think that's everything, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. In that case, I will just take your blood pressure and your pulse.
Okay.
And I think we're done.
Excited.
Right, just one arm, doesn't matter which. That's great. Thank you. That's fine. 18 times 4. My maths is terrible, so I'll calculate that later, but that looks perfectly acceptable. And I just need the upper arm, so might need to take just it needs to go around the arm. Super, thank you very much. Got the old school one, everyone else is using the electronic ones now because they're much easier. But
Oh yes, the pump one.
Yeah, we trained with this one and I sort of like I'm reluctant to give it up. You just straighten the arm a second. That's great. Relax again. Thank you. That's fine. I'll do that. Fantastic. 108/74, which is lovely. Thank you. That's low normal, so perfect. Okay. Right, so all that's going to happen now is I will make sense of all this on Monday and write a little treatment plan. So I'll come up with a working diagnosis, which I think I can tell you right now will be post-COVID fatigue, but I think I'll come up with a working diagnosis and a little treatment plan. I don't think too much is needed because it sounds to me like you're on your way to recovery naturally anyway. So it's just a case of sort of accelerating that, which is pretty easy to do, I think. And I think what we'll try and do for you, because you've got another 2 of these sessions, is to just sort of give you some tools that you can take away that sort of improve your long-term health. So there'll be well, that's my job. So so there'll be little homeworks. So there are a few ideas that I had today just from things that you mentioned. So I will put all that in an email to you on Monday. So if they'll sort of usually, because the only thing I'd say is because I use a Hotmail email address. If you haven't got an email from me by 5 o'clock, check the junk box.
Right, okay.
And if you still haven't got one, text me and go, where the heck's my email?
Right, got it.
It'll be arriving on Monday.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.